Please, so welcome. Share with me how can I help you?
Okay, so this week has been really difficult for me because I had a huge fight with my boyfriend last night, and he got mad at me. Like he was really mad at me, and I didn't know what to tell him. And I haven't been able to concentrate at school or at university, and I've also been having like a lot of trouble, like doing all the things that I have to do. So this was really like something that like the tip of the iceberg. Like right now, I just want to cry all the time, and I don't know what's going to happen with him. I feel like my whole life is falling apart, and I really don't know what to do.
Okay, so you're telling me that you had this like huge fight with your friend, with your boyfriend, and then he got really mad at you. What do you mean with like really mad at you?
Okay, so when we fight, we usually like it's really a soft fight. Like we stop talking to each other like for an hour or two, and that's it, and then we make peace and everything's fine. But right now, he doesn't want to talk to me. He ignores me every time he can. He can, and he also like is really hurtful. Like he told me something like, "You really don't care about me, and you're just using me to do to feel happy or something like that." And it really hurt me because it's not even close to what I feel for him. So it hurt me that he wasn't able to see what I do feel and how I really am with him.
Okay, so you told me that usually these fights last for an hour, so and then you got together again. But now it's a bit different because he started telling you hurtful things, and then you're trying to contact him and he's ignoring you. Can you tell me why did the fight started?
Okay, so like I told you, I've been having to do like all of the things like school and my family, and I'm doing internships, so
Okay.
I really have little time to like meet him. So one day I was like in university, and I bumped with my ex-boyfriend, and I said hi, and we talked for a little while, and then we had lunch together. And when I told my boyfriend about this, he freaked out, and he told me that he cannot believe that I am giving time to my ex-boyfriend and not him. And he's not even jealous about my ex-boyfriend because he knows that I really don't feel anything for him.
Okay.
But he got mad because I wasn't giving him time, like for like I gave to my ex-boyfriend. And I do understand why he feels mad, but it wasn't my fault. Like I just bumped with him, and it all happened. Oh well, I really don't know. Perhaps it was my fault. And yes, I don't know.
Okay, so it seems like you're a bit unsure of whether you have to carry with this and if it was really your fault. And you feel like maybe you do comprehend like the roots of the fight and you feel sympathy for him because you know that it's hard like for him to see you with this guy even though he's not jealous. He's more mad at the fact that you spend time with this guy instead of with him. Do you feel like maybe this lack of time you've been experiencing with your boyfriend has affected somehow your relationship?
I think it has, but it's not mainly my fault because he doesn't make an effort to see me anyway. Like he is in another university, so he is not able to like have lunch with me all the time. But it's I don't know. I haven't told him this, but I'm really getting angry because he doesn't like make any effort to see me. Anyway, so it's like, why do you get mad with me for having lunch with him when you don't even move like a finger for me?
Okay.
So that's why I like it's so confusing for me. Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of in this position in which like you don't really you really have lots of things to do with your family and university and your internships and like the time you give him is like really like hard for you to like separate from him. But in the other hand he just doesn't do the effort to be with you, and that's what makes you like a bit angry at him because he's getting mad at you for something that you didn't really mean, and for something that just happened and wasn't your fault. And at the same time, he doesn't like actively seeks you, and
Yeah.
this makes you a bit mad. How long has this been happening?
Right now it has been happening like for a month or so, I think, because what I was telling you, like when I have the time, like 5 minutes or anything, I will call him and I will tell him like, hey, how are you? Like I just came out for university, but he doesn't do that. He's like, he doesn't call me, he doesn't tell me anything, so.
Okay, so you feel like you're maybe putting more into the relationship than him? Has this happened like in other areas of your relationship, that you are not feeling this reciprocity like between you two?
Sometimes, like, yeah, with the time that we spend together, it's more evident, but also with the fact that I'm always trying to like understand him and I don't know, asking him like, how was your day, and please talk to me and tell me if you're wrong and everything. And it's been such a long path because ever since the beginning of our relationship, he's really like quiet and he doesn't tell me anything.
Okay.
And I'm the kind of person that really wants to be there for him.
Okay.
So anytime something happens to him, like I try to talk to him and tell him that, hey, I'm here, like you can rely on me. But when something happens to me, he just like he disappears and he's like, I'm just giving you time, and if you didn't need time, then I will like give you your space. And it's, I don't know, it's stressing because I don't want my space. I just want him to like be there for me, like I am for him, and he doesn't care for that. So yeah, I think that that's the second thing that I can think about when you tell me this.
Okay, so I can tell by your facial expressions and a bit of your like voice that this is something that really bothers you, the fact that you have constantly wanting to be there for him and support him, and all like you have tried to establish a path toward communication, and he's being kind of avoidant and really distant from this connection you want. And when he is like in a bad situation, you are there for him and you feel like you support him. But when you are in some sort of situation that is not easy, you feel like he uses this excuse, like I'm gonna give you your space.
Yeah.
But maybe this is to avoid communication and just to avoid being there for you.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're telling me. Like, I feel like he really doesn't care if something happens to me, and then he gets jealous about it. So I don't know. It's the fact that I'm sad is just because I really don't know what to do. I don't know if I should continue with his relationship or not, because I imagine like if right now he doesn't support me, then how will it be in 2 years or so when things get even worse?
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what's stopping me for one instance, and in also I don't know if I should be with him because he's well a nice guy and everything, but these things really bother me.
Okay, so you are like in the path towards the decision of ending your relationship because of all the things you've told me, and it also feels like you've put more into the relationship than him, and maybe right now you are exhausted of like trying to be there for him all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like sounds like a break point in your relationship in which you have to make a decision, and I feel like you've let yourself a bit aside to like support him. Do you feel this? Like, do you feel like you've put yourself on a second layer for him to be on top?
Well, I think that I have considered this, but there's a part of me that says like, don't think that. Okay, so just like keep that in a quiet side because he's your boyfriend and everything. So it's like I have to be there for him, and I think that I've let myself down with that because I'm not caring for myself, and right now it's really heavy. Like it's a heavy weight because there are so many things happening in my life right now that I do need to focus on those things and not just him being well or him doing anything. So yeah, like I'm angry and I am so like I do know what's the decision, but there's something that is stopping me and I really don't know what it is, and that's what um, makes me so sad every day.
Okay, so do you think that maybe he could, like, if you were to talk to him and explain all those things to him and make him see that you are putting more into the relationship that he is, maybe he could change some of these aspects? Do you think that is a possibility, or have you tried it before?
Well, I've tried before. Like, we've had a lot of fights, and I'm always the one that like says, "Okay, okay, you're right."
Okay.
So I think that in this fight, he will say that again to me. So I don't know how effective it will be for me to talk to him. I could try. I don't know, but I don't know how useful it will be. So yeah, I really don't know what to do.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you feel this sort of obligation to like be that type of girlfriend that stands by like her guy and everything, and it seems to me like he uses a bit of guilt, like about this guilt you were mentioning, like to a bit manipulate you into forgiving him or just forgetting about the situation. And you mentioned that you put this like uncomfortable situations in like another room and just lock it. How do you think your relationship would work if you start being like truthful about the things that bother you, and how do you think he would take it?
Well, I think that two things could happen. He might actually understand me and care for me and like try to change and everything, or he might say like, okay, if I'm not good enough, then okay, we should split up. I really don't know which one he will do, because sometimes he's so unexpected that he might choose anything. So I think that perhaps I don't know. I think that it all depends on what words I use, and the problem is that I get like really frustrated really quickly.
Okay.
So if he starts telling me like, "Oh, you're so annoying," then it's so probable that I might like burst
Okay.
and like shout and cry and everything. So I'm afraid that if I tell him, perhaps I don't know, perhaps I won't be able to manage it for me, but also for himself. So yes, like I've been thinking all of these things, and I don't know what is the right thing to do.
Okay, so you talked about these two possibilities. The first is that he really makes a change because he understands what you're telling and he puts himself into your position and he realizes all you've done for him. And the other one is that maybe he just decides that if he's not good enough for your relationship, that maybe you should split. How would you feel with this? What impact would it have in your life? And is it something that you would want?
Breaking up with him? Well, I think that if we break up or something like that, I will be affected, but I'm not so affected because I'm this type of person that I know that it hurts and I do want to feel the pain, but I also want to like do something about it.
Okay.
And I don't want to get stuck on the pain. So if we break up, then yeah, I will feel sad and everything, but I may get over it pretty well, relatively quickly. I don't know if it's something that I want, although because I might feel that I've like failed myself and failed this commitment towards him.
Okay.
And this image of a perfect and healthy relationship, that's something that's really hard for me to let go.
Okay, but like if you let it go, like you haven't had his support, and throughout the difficult moments, he hasn't been there for you, and he has let you go through this pain by yourself. So it seems to me like if you were to break up with him, then the pain would be manageable. Like you've learned by yourself that you can manage your own pain, and therefore I think you can, like you're able to go through this by yourself and realize that maybe your relationship with yourself, like you must improve in some aspects that you've left aside for him. Maybe this kind of relationship with yourself is better than like this constant fight you have for maybe a bit of his attention and a bit of like his time.
Yeah, well, I think that it's something that I may have to consider because, yeah, sometimes I don't take care of myself. So perhaps if we break up, then I might be able to do that. But it's really hard for me to let go of this image of the perfect girlfriend and everything. Um, Towards everybody, like my mother seems to be really happy that I'm with him, and my brothers and sisters, and my dad, like he also like kind of likes him, and everybody expects that eventually we will get married. So I think that right now it's that like I don't know how to deal with the fact that things might go wrong and we may break up. So yeah, I don't know. That's something that I don't know how to work on.
Okay, so it seems like your family has this image of him as really being like making you happy, and they have only seen through this positive side of your relationship. Clearly, they haven't seen you through the negative part and through the problems you've had, and this is your fear. You're afraid of them like realizing that your relationship isn't perfect and that the images you've been portraying maybe haven't portrayed the truth.
Yeah.
And you don't think that you'll be able to manage this like breakdown of reality so suddenly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to tell everybody because I don't want to be this kind of girl that everybody says like she's going to stay single for the rest of her life. But I don't know. I think that I know the reality and I know what I have to do, but it's so hard to like saying it and like acknowledging that. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say that thing. So I don't know. Yeah, I do think that I have to deal with the fact that I'm not a perfect girlfriend and a perfect person and all of those things. But how can I don't know, how can I break up with him? I don't know. It's really hard for me right now. I don't know how to do it.
Okay, it seems like the people around you have sort of planned this future for you that you're now doubting, and you feel like you know the truth and you know how your relationship has been. You know that you may not be the perfect girlfriend and your relationship might not be perfect. And although you know these things, you reject like for everyone else to know. So maybe you should start like with little steps. For example, telling someone, like telling a friend of yours or one of your sisters or brothers, like, look, I'm going through this, and I know it seems like we've been fine, but we haven't. And maybe talking to someone about it will make it a bit more real, and you feel that maybe people will accept that your relationship was not as it looked like, and that doesn't make you a failure. It just makes you a mature person to realize that if something is like toxic enough, you should leave it for yourself and for others.
Well, yeah, I think that it's really something that I should consider and perhaps working on. And I think that it's true what you said, like I should break this image of the perfect relationship and break the future that everybody has planned for me. And perhaps like letting everybody know that I do feel sad sometimes, and that I do feel angry, and that what you said, like my relationship is not perfect, and perhaps telling him also this that I'm not happy in the relationship and that perhaps we should break up. Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like you have a decision to make, and we can keep working on how to tell everyone that this has been a tough process for you and that this is the best for you right now. And even though everyone had this image, you know the truth. And I feel like you're very certain of what you want, and that this is like the most mature decision to make.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll keep talking on this
Okay.
in the next session.
Okay.
Thank you.